We are live. As we are live. Sharon,
Yeah.
over to you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar of Developing Global Mindsets via PGDMEXP Ghaziabad. Today, we have along with us our program chair, Dr. Nihar Amonkar. We have Professor Garima Saxena, and we also have two current students of PGDMEXP program, Sushmita and Rajiv. So today we'll start the program to Professor Nihar. He will guide us through the general agenda of the program and the course structure. And post that, we'll move to Professor Garima Saxena, who will explain to us all about the International Immersion Program. So to talk about Dr. Nihar, Dr. Nihar is currently the chair of PGDMEXP program, and he also heads the faculty area of strategy, innovation, and entrepreneurship. He also heads the Center for Enterprise and Business Improvement at IMT Ghaziabad. Professor Nihar started his career by co-founding an enterprise and transitioned into academia by pursuing a PhD in entrepreneurship from University of South Wales with full scholarship. He has spent over 10 years in UK in various academic management and other roles as director of MBA programs at University of Derby. He has also won several Best Paper awards for his research in UK and Malaysia, and won the university-wide Best Lecturer award at South Wales University. He moved to IMTG from 2021. Over to you, Professor Nihal.
Thank you, Sharon. Welcome, everyone. I would really like to thank Professor Garima Saxena, who is the head of our International Relations Center at IMT Ghaziabad, for joining us, and as well as our very dear students, Rajiv, Susmita, as well as Sharon, who are a part of our 2022-24 PGDM EXP batch. The current batch, which is ongoing at IMT Ghaziabad. So before I talk about the program, I would just like to state that this particular webinar, we are concentrating on the international immersion, which is one of the key elements of the program, a very unique element in this program, which lends it a very distinguishing feature. So what happens as a part of the program is that in term number 3, our students travel to Europe as a part of an international immersion. This international immersion is a part of the program curriculum. So it is embedded into the program curriculum. It's not separate to the program, and it's mandatory for every student who joins this program. Now, why is it that we included that international immersion? We have seen that over the past 30 years in India, at least, that businesses as well as our country and society is becoming more and more globalized. So it's very difficult for any emerging leader to be cut off from the rest of the world, to be cut off from globalization, and be unaware of the other cultures around the world, and progress in the world of management. So it is very important for every emerging leader to have a global mindset. So what do we mean by global mindset? That means a mindset that appreciates global cultures, a mindset that is well aware of how business and management is done all over the world, the different facets of trade that exist across the world, and how is it that people cross borders not only to sell goods and services, but to also work in each other's countries. So the world has become a smaller place ever since we have seen globalization take effect. And we at IMT Ghaziabad firmly believe that any student who joins our executive program needs to embed this global mindset into themselves so that they can go and join organizations and play a vital role in connecting the organization's growth story with the rest of the world. So just to talk a little bit about the program, the PGDM EXP program started in the year 2000 as the PGDM Executive Program. So it has been rechristened as the PGDM EXP program because of some changes in the AICT mandate. So last year, we undertook a massive exercise of architecture change and a curriculum review, wherein, as per AICTE, all the PGDM programs at IMT Ghaziabad have been merged. Now, what is the consequence of that is that we cannot use the name PGDM Executive anymore. So that is why we call it PGDM EXP, which is Experienced Professionals. Now, it is a fact that in IMT Ghaziabad or in any other B school which is accredited by AICTE, all the programs operate under the banner of PGDM, but they are delivered in different formats. So, for example, at IMT Ghaziabad, there is a PGDM WE, which is delivered in part-time format. There is the EXP, which is delivered in an accelerated 18-month format. And then there is the PGDM, which is delivered in a 2-year format. So the distinguishing feature across these three programs is the way in which it is delivered. Otherwise, the core of the programs, all three programs, is the same. So this is the important thing you need to note about this program is this is not a PGP, this is not a PGCE, this is a PGDM, this is a postgraduate diploma in management. And AICTE says that as long as you take students who have at least 5 years of experience, you can finish the program in 18 months. So that's how we designed this program in 15 plus 3. So 15 months of taught classroom training, followed by 3 months of project. So that's why we call it the accelerated program, because you finish it 6 months sooner than you would in a traditional MBA. However, the gist of it is that the intensity and the rigor of the program is very, very high, which will be probably testified by some of the students who are present here. It's also very demanding from you because you have to come on board, you have to transition back into academia, and you have to then keep your mind open to learning new tools, techniques, and knowledge, and as well as do a lot of other things besides studies while you're a part of this program. So let me give you a quick journey of what transpires as a part of this program. So while we invest a lot of attention in terms of developing your academic skills, so you will have cutting edge subjects such as strategic management, you will have leadership, you will have a lot of innovation related subjects. But the unique thing about this program is that it is positioned for the fourth industrial revolution. So this is actually positioned towards the future of the industry. So you will see that courses like business analytics, data science, AI, ML, digital business transformation, digital business strategy, these are core subjects, which is very unnatural for a traditional executive MBA. But that's where the world of business and management is going. We are seeing technology disrupt the way we do business all over the world. We are seeing more and more technology-based businesses emerging, or digital business models emerging. So it is very important for us to imbibe these qualities into our skill sets as well. That is why these core courses have been included. That is something that we did while we did the curriculum review last year. So the curriculum review meant that we connected with all our stakeholders. We connected back into our, to our alumni base. We connected with our recruiters, we connected with industry experts, subject matter experts, and we really asked them the simple question that what does a good world-class executive MBA look like? And the result is in front of you, which is the PGDMEXP program architecture. So it has gone through a very rigorous process of development so that you're sure that when you become a part of this program, you're studying what is really going to be absolutely crucial for your growth story in the corporate world. The other thing that I want to talk about is that this program not only focuses on the academic development of the candidate, but also the personal development. So, for example, we have Personal Growth Lab, which focuses on the individual and group dynamics of the person. We have courses such as Managing Self, personal branding, which are included as a part of the growth, because as executives who will join the corporate world, it is very important that we grow as professionals. Equally, we grow as individuals and persons as well. So this is a program which really focuses on developing your executive presence, developing an executive mindset. And coming back to the international immersion, the international immersion has been designed in such a way that it really gives you exposure not just to classroom teaching in a different environment, but there are lots of corporate visits, there are lots of cultural visits that are involved. And I'm sure that Professor Garima and the others will like to share their experiences. We have partnerships with a lot of European business schools which are triple accredited, FT ranked. So when you're very much assured that when you do study abroad, you're studying with one of the most prestigious business schools in the world. And lastly, I would just like to state that this is not something that we ask our students to cover by themselves. We cover the entire expenditure of the international immersion as a part of the program. So your flights, your accommodation, your meals, everything is covered as a part of the program. The only thing that you need to pay for is whatever fun you would like to have over there. I think that's what you need to pay out from your pocket. So I would just like to stop at this point. I'll come in at various points to just elaborate more on how we help develop a global mindset. One way is also by inviting, and Professor Garima might touch upon it. A lot of foreign faculty also come to teach on this program on our campus. So, for example, in this term, we have one faculty from ISCT Portugal, as well as one faculty from University of Leeds, UK, coming to teach as a part of the program. So it's a two-way development of global mindset. So with that, I would like to hand it over back to Sharon, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Nihar, for your kind words. So next we'll have Professor Garima Saxena, who is the chairperson of the International Relations Center. She is also assistant professor in the area of marketing at IMT Ghaziabad. She has done her fellowship program in management from XLRI Jamshedpur, and her research and teaching interests lie in understanding consumer behavior, decision-making process, retailing and luxury marketing. Her work has been published in reputed journals like Journal of Services Marketing, Marketing Intelligence and Planning, and International Journal of Retail and Distribution Management. Over to you, Professor Garima.
Thank you, Sharon. I'll just take a minute to share my screen and then I'll forward. Yeah, I hope the screen is visible to everyone. Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Like Sharon said, I am Professor Garima Saxena. I am also responsible for the International Relations Center at IMT Ghaziabad for the last 2 years now. And I would like to start with a little bit of an introduction of what does International Relations Center stand for and what do we do at the institute. So IMT Ghaziabad was always a visionary institute in the sense that they gave a lot of importance to a global mindset, and they understood that in the coming years, being a global manager would mean that you have an exposure to the best of the pedagogy, and you are exposed also to their ways of working. And at the same time, both faculty and students should have a chance to interact with the management education world all around the globe. So with this vision, in 2005, International Relations Center was established, and therefore this center is the custodian for identifying, developing, and maintaining all the global partners at IMT. What we really do is we look out always for opportunities for exchange of students and faculty. At the same time, we develop a lot of research programs, events, conferences in partnership with our global partners. We are always, at the lookout of looking at other collaboration avenues, for example, creating new programs or creating interactions to improve the curriculum of the programs that are currently running in our institute. And additionally, we're also building more and more partnerships, increasing our footprint and our scope of interaction all over the world. To know more about our international center, you can go at the link that's provided here. It's part of the main website of the IMT Institute. Okay, a snapshot of what are some of our reputed partners, and at the same time, what is our presence over the globe. So you would see, and like Professor Nihar was mentioning, we have a lot of reputed partners in Europe, and a large majority of our partners are in Europe. One of the reasons why Europe has been so favorite among students, and it has been great to develop partnership with Europe, is that they have a very great vision to to global education. They have very flexible programs, and at the same time, they have a huge interest, and they take a lot of impetus. They give it a lot of impetus and also adjust a lot with all the partners in developing programs that others are also looking for. So this particular immersion program that we generally customize for our students of EXP program, this is all based on what we are looking for our students. So we take into account what the batch is like, what subjects we would want to be included in a particular year. And therefore, we demand a lot of flexibility from our partners also, that they are able to deliver what we are looking for a particular given batch. And this is a fantastic, capability of European schools. And therefore, we have developed numerous partnerships, and at the same time, we are very actively involved with our European partners. But at the same time, we're constantly striving to build more and more partnerships in North America. In the last 2 years itself, we've added more American universities to our list of partners. And in fact, in 2020, the immersion for EXP batch actually happened with Syracuse University, even when COVID was going on. So it was a virtual mode immersion, but it was a fantastic program because it was developed by one of the most reputed university, not just in America, but all over the world. Yeah, so this is how our partners look like. We also have some partners, a good amount of partners in Asia. Australia is also coming up, and of course, South America and Africa, we have some of them and still developing. This is again, a snapshot of some of the well-ranked and highest ranking, even in FT50 rankings. Aston University, Syracuse University, they're very highly ranked. All of these schools that you see on this slide, like Professor Neha was mentioning, are all triple accredited. And any school which is the minimum criteria of IMT Ghaziabad to make a partner is it should at least be an ASCSB accredited school. Now, what does this mean for the students and potential students and even current students of ours is that any school that you would be visiting as part of your immersion or any other kind of a program, you would have the best of the faculty and best of the curriculum that you could probably get in the entire world. So you can be rest assured that the quality of education that you would be getting for that entire term, it's set apart, and it would be a memorable experience, both personally and both as a learning experience for you, because these are some of the best universities you could be looking at for management education. Okay, so a little bit deeper and details. What does this immersion program really entail? How long is it? So the duration of the program is 2 to 4 weeks, and the students complete around 2 to 6 credits. What do we mean by credits is 1 credit is equivalent to 10 classroom hours, and hence this program would cover around 60 classroom hours. Even the students who went, they can tell how many courses they went through to complete these classroom hours. Approximately, it would span around 3 to 4 courses would be completed during those 4 weeks program. Okay, in addition to the classroom hours, there would be multiple company visits, multiple cultural visits. There is also a choice between multiple partners, in the sense, what do I mean by choice is that every year we ask our partners who would be willing to provide a proposal to welcome our students, to host our students, and to organize all of it. So we get multiple quotations and multiple interest from our partners. Based on the proposal that they give to us, there is generally a committee at the institute who takes a decision, very comparing all the intellectual aspect of the program and also the cultural potential of the program. So based on all that comparative evaluation, a particular partner school is selected for the current batch. So but there is, of course, we do not leave any stone unturned, in the sense that every year we try to do something new and go a little bit higher as to what a partner was giving us last year. We would expect something more practical, more immersive, and therefore we keep on trying to improve our program also every year. This is just snapshot of what has been happening, where the programs have been happening for the last few years. Like I was talking about, in 2021, Syracuse University virtual mode was there. 2020 and 2021 were the COVID years, so physical travel was not possible. But in 2021, in addition to Syracuse University, the students also got a chance to visit the Dubai Expo. So that was, in the given circumstances, it was a huge success. It was a very different and exceptional experience that the students had at the Dubai Expo. And for the last year, a last batch went to ISEC School of Management, again a triple accredited and one of the most prestigious school in France. This year, our students went to Burgundy School of Business, again a triple accredited institute. And I think it was such a great program that was built, wherein two campuses they were able to visit and interact with all the faculty and the students of both the campuses. And of course, the students present here would tell you more about what happened there and what they learned, where they went. So I will leave that to them. These are just visuals. Visuals work better for our human eyes. So some fun moments and some memorable moments of our students at their immersion. These ones are at BSB, our current batch. You can see our students who are there in Sharang, we can see in both the photos. So all the students are there. And that's all from our side. I mean, in the sense of providing you just the details of IRC, we'll take up some questions later. But if any of you would like to reach out to us, this is our email ID, and we would be very happy. And we are always prompt to reply to any queries that you have in with regard to the immersion or the partners, or what is the services or whatever the elements of the immersion program are. We would be very happy to answer. So that's all from my side for now. Thank you, Sharang. Over to you.
Thank you, Professor Garima. Now, I would request my colleague Sushmita to share a few experiences about the international immersion with our members.
Rajiv, you can start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharon. Yeah. So I would like to first share about my experience on the course part. During our immersion program, we had the opportunity to engage in a variety of courses that expanded our knowledge of French culture and upgrade our skills in various areas. We, were taught courses on French corporate culture, cross-cultural management, strategic management of innovation, and green communication. There were many interesting concepts which were taught in all the courses, but a few which I would like to mention was the Hofstede's framework in cross-cultural management, how we can assess, different cultures of different countries altogether. Because when we were ranking India, America, and different countries, we were actually getting to understand how all these countries differ in their cultural values. And the strategic management of innovation also was a very interesting course. And last but not the least, I would like to mention the course on green communication, which is sustainability, which is also a very hot topic in the corporate in India as well these days. So we got to learn a lot many insights which we got from that course were really helpful. Also, the pedagogy I would like to share. The one pedagogy we normally generally, the multimedia presentations or the PPTs we work with in India as well. However, there was one simulation which was the Everest simulation actually was the favorite one which I would like to share, which was, we're trying to inhibit team and leadership simulation activity. So we were divided into teams of 5, 6 people, and each team were, supposed to reach the top of the Everest virtually. That was a really nice simulation game, which I really thoroughly enjoyed. And obviously, I would like to share about the cultural visits which we had and the corporate visits which we had as well. So we also went to Château de Clos de Vigiot, which is standing in the heart of Burgundy. It's in the vineyards. It was originally a wine farm, and it was built from the 12th century by monks. So there were many cultural visits which were planned, and we also, as ma'am also shared that during the weekends we also went to the city of Paris on our own, and we enjoyed our trip to the Eiffel Tower and Louvre Museum as well, and a couple of students also went to Amsterdam as well. So all in all, it was a great experience for me, which actually helped me create insights about how there are different cultures and how they contribute to actually the formation of the corporate culture, and also the cross border team management as well, where we actually get to appreciate and respect the diversity among different team members in our groups. So it was a great experience for me.
Thank you, Rajiv. Hi, everyone. This is Sushmita. I'm part of the current batch at IMD Ghaziabad PGDMEXP program. So, in a continuation to whatever Rajiv has shared till now, I'll just try to structure a bit about how the courses were planned, how the scheduling is planned around the whole term. So, we visited Burgundy School of Business for around 4 weeks, right? So we visited their 2 campuses. One was in Dijon and one was in Lyon, France. So the courses that we had there, we had 3 courses, which were all together, they were around of 6 credits. So that's how we'll be, now we'll be getting the grades of those subjects as well. But the pedagogy or the schedule that was planned, it was planned in a way with BSB, faculties and the international relations team over there as well. It was very structured in a way that we get our off days as well. So they had a concept of bank holidays, let's say on Monday. So, we could plan our visits apart from the regular schedule, because a part of this immersion program is not just, to understand how your studies or your subjects or the courses that you study, but also to understand the cultural part of it. So it was very important for us to actually, go out on our own and experience the whole, the city life or people around us. We learned a little bit of French before going there. We polished on our Duolingo skills as well. So that helped us a lot. So it really, made us to actually have an immersive experience over there. One thing that I think we studied in our cross-cultural management class was that, French people, they know how to live. Like there's a phrase that they use, art de vivre, right? So they know the art of living. So that is something that we actually, when we visited places, like some of the people went to Italy, some of the people visited south of France and other places, and also a lot of cultural visits as well. So they actually got to understand that they do really know how to live, because at lunch hours they would just shut off the laptops and enjoy the meal for the next 1 hour. So that is how it was really imbibed in their culture, that once you go away from the work, you actually live your life completely. I'll also touch upon a few corporate visits that we had. So we went on, I think, 4 corporate visits. 2 of them, focused on mostly how your wine manufacturing, liquor manufacturing, and how your wine barrel manufacturing works. So one was in, I think, Lake Assisian. This was in Vedran. It's again in the center of your Burgundy region. And another was your Tournesol Rousseau. So that is again mostly, how your wine barreling works. So both the visits was, I think, planned during the same day. So we actually got to, understand the whole process, like how your, so one of the visits which I was mentioning earlier, they actually specialize in a blackcurrant liquor that they produce, and that's what their market leader kind of a product was. So we understood how, the product, the blackcurrant berry is actually, manufactured there, and then how they grow it, and then the whole process of learning how the wine is stored and then, used later on after years. And then when we went to the next cultural visit, next corporate visit, we understood how the wine barreling works, how they, actually take out the woods from the forest and how they store it, how they use it after many years. And they actually had like different shapes and liters of barrels that they used to make. And they had a huge customer base, both in France and outside of France. So they were actually also telling that they had a very big customer order from India recently. So that is something that we actually, kind of understood from a perspective of the French visit that we had, because it was very different and we got to meet the recent, so it's the second wine barrel corporate visit that we had. That was a company that was in, it has, I think, been there for almost 30-40 years now, and it's a family run business. So what we also got to know from a French culture point of view is that France is a very family oriented business base over there. So one of our professors over there, they shared that almost 99% of businesses in France is, small to medium enterprise businesses. So you actually need to understand from a middle manager perspective. If you, once we graduate from this program, we'll be holding certain middle manager positions. So you need to actually understand how culturally that country is, how the businesses work there. So that really helped us to, understand a lot of perspectives. Do you want to add, Rajiv or Sharon? You can also share.
Just one area I would like to share, because that is just cropping up on my mind, is the accommodation and the logistics. I think when we were moving from India in summers in India to France, we were like all very skeptical regarding how would be the hotel and how would be the climate and how we would be commuting there in France locally. But I think the accommodation part, we had both hotels, both in Dijon and Lyon, were great, and the people were also really friendly. I remember when I had to plan my trip to, Paris, the receptionist took 30-40 minutes out of her time to actually tell me what all metro, bus, and trains should I be taking, and how safe it is to travel to Paris, and what time should I be, traveling. So the staff there was really helpful, and the logistics part, which was being taken care by Burgundy School of Business, that was also very seamless. I think the hotels were stationed very close to the colleges, and we could easily walk to the respective campuses, or take a tram. The tram stations were very nearby to our hotel. So all in all, it was really nicely planned. And we also had, apprehensions about the kind of food which we would be getting in France, because we are not habitual of eating breads and the kind of non-veg food which the people there love to eat. But then again, that was also taken care, and we got Indian food and French food in the right proportions, and we were really happy. So yeah, so that is one experience I would really like to share, because it had a huge impact on me and I was really happy about it. Yeah, over to you, Sharan.
Thank you, Rajiv and Sushmita, for sharing your experiences. We will move on to the Q&A session now. We have a few questions from our YouTube chat for our panel. So, first question is, how does the international immersion help an individual in terms of his or her career growth?
Professor Karima, you want to take that?
Okay, I'm sure I'll start. You can add wherever you feel like. So, why international relations? Why is an international immersion important for a student? Especially like what Sushmita was saying, that all of you are going to graduate in a year and a half and enter middle management positions. That's a place where your teams are likely to be very diverse. In these days, the entire world is so connected, wherein you're dealing clients, or you're working in teams which are multicultural. Therein not just a sensitivity, but an appreciation of what the other culture brings to the table. There is so much discussion around diversity, equity. This is first-hand experience for all the students. Not all students are coming from a background where you've always been immersed in multicultural. So India is a very multicultural in that way, but just being in India, we're so used to it that we do not know certain things that we are doing is not as normal in other cultures. And when you're leading teams, when you're in a position of responsibility, it becomes much more important to be, sensitive, understanding, adjusting, flexible, and in fact, to take an advantage of the diversity that's there around you. So I think that's absolutely so important for upcoming managers. And because this component is a compulsory component, I think it's very good, because you are thrown into a situation where you have to adjust with certain things, which is like the definition of life and work life, personal life, everything. You're thrown into things where you would have to adjust and make the best of the given situation, and I think most students come out, fabulously doing well out of every situation that they are put into, and they make the best use of it. I think Professor Neha can add more.
Absolutely, and what you said is spot on. I mean, just think about this. Whenever we go into that mindset wherein we start believing that I know all that there is to know. I mean, that is the stop of any individual's growth. So the one of the major reasons why I really appreciate the international immersion that is done as a part of this program is because I want the students of this batch to realize that there is a lot more to what you know. There is a lot that you do not know, and never stop being curious about what you don't know and other cultures. And it's just developing a sort of a humility and understanding that it is by accepting that, okay, there is much more out there than what I know, and it is my duty to understand it. It is my duty to adapt to it. It is my duty to sort of take the good bits from that and develop my own style, whether it is a leadership style, whether it is a managerial style. So something like Sushmita and Rajiv were saying that they always knew when to shut their laptops and head for lunch. Maybe that is one thing that you might want to imbibe in as your managerial or leadership trait, wherein you are very clear to your teams that when you work 110%. When you don't just focus on everything else. There's so much more to life than work. So and this is something that I realized when I spent my time abroad, that I realized that life is not just about doing the 9 to 5. We do the 9 to 5 so that we lead a good life away from work. So I think it opens up your mind in so many different ways. Whether you spend 1 month, I mean, more than studying those 6 credits, I always tell them that it is about going and immersing yourself in a different culture and accepting whatever comes. If you get a cold sandwich for lunch in the afternoon, take it. And if you don't get puri sabzi in the morning for breakfast, instead you get croissants, I mean, have it. And it's fine, but that is how you need to adapt. So I think it makes them step out of their comfort zones, and and then that sort of reflects into your career as well. You might not be conscious about it, but it does reflect in your career. So I think it is massively important. The other thing that I would just like to touch upon very quickly is the kind of subjects that we choose. So we actually, the program team, the IRC, we do a lot of work with the partner in order to choose the subjects which, one, are not covered as a part of the program at Ghaziabad, and two, which are actually strengths of the partner institute. So this time when they studied cross-cultural management or green technology or innovation, I mean, those were the strength areas of Burgundy School of Business. So we really like to give you an experience of learning these cutting-edge subjects from the best faculties all over the world. So I think that's the second thing. So you're bringing into your workplace these insights that are normally elusive to people who study in India. So you are exposed to these insights and perspectives of these researchers who have been doing this work for so many years, and that sort of gives you that that competitive advantage. I like to call it, as a strategist, I always use that word, that it gives you that competitive advantage to sort of perform slightly differently than the rest of the crowd. So I think that's what I would like to say. I mean, I think the students can even tell how it affected them. If you would like to add.
No, absolutely, sir. I think this you shared that you get a croissant in the breakfast, and you get to step out of their comfort zone. So while going through the courses, one was one part, but when we interacted with the students at Burgundy School of Business, so they had a different and altogether different perspective towards life, towards business at large, mainly because of the values which they are growing up in the country. So which was very contrasting from what we have here in India. In India, we might be having different cultures and different organizations, but we all have a kind of a similar background, a similar history. But going to France and understanding how they see life, and how they say business per se, and how they see a job was really, kind of really it struck us that the way they go about their jobs, the 9 to 5, as you shared, they just do really hard work, and how they look life beyond that. That is one learning which we took, as a cohort, that when we are working, and then after work also we need to collaborate, we need to enjoy our life, and you need to get immersed in the culture as well. That was one learning. And there were many, being a developed country, we saw, we went to a corporate visit at 7, where an incubator cell, an entrepreneurship incubator cell, where they helped around 120 startups, and especially in France. So that was also again an eye opener, where a company which started with just a community collaborative network, where they were providing only halls on rent to different startups, they actually went on to become a company which actually facilitates, a culture of bringing the startups up the ranks. So that was really nice to know that as well. So it was really a good experience, sir. It really broadened the way, how the perspective which we had when was in Berlin, India, and when we went to France. So it really helped.
Thank you, Rajiv and Nihal sir and Professor Garima. We have another question from YouTube. The person wants to know whether people on sabbaticals or professionals who have taken a break are welcome to the program.
Absolutely, and I think if you're on a sabbatical or if you're on a break, I'm sure that you've taken that decision keeping in mind that you would like to use that time to upskill yourself, to develop yourself professionally. I mean, whoever comes under this part of on this program, they need to realize that this is a full-time residential program. There are lots of programs that are going on in India, I know, which are called double quotes, executive programs, but they are hybrid, online, alternate weekends. We take a different view of it. We are very serious about you being on campus for the duration of the program, full time, residentially, working together. And classes are conducted on weekends. Sometimes the classes are on late evenings. We have leadership talks from top industry leaders coming in at short notice, so you're always on the toes, right? There are a lot that is the beauty of a full-time residential program. So if you have taken a sabbatical, if you have taken a break, we are more than welcome on the program. We have companies, I wouldn't name them, but which have sabbatical as a part of their corporate culture. They usually come to this program, and we have had lots of people coming from those companies and going back and joining the company in a higher role, or transitioning across different industries, or pivoting their career in a different role. There are so many possibilities. So that's the beauty of this program, because it allows you to transition your career. It allows you to cut across different industries. And the fact that you come and join a cohort as diverse as ours, I'm sure the three gentlemen and the two gentlemen and one lady that we have as a part of this panel, they come from three different backgrounds, with three different types of experiences. So when you meet such people, and when you exchange ideas, and when you exchange your information, I think that's a great part of learning, because I always believe in what the World Economic Forum says is a transformative learning theory. It says the three ways in which adults learn is application, reflection, and peer learning. So application is something that we do in this program through short-term projects, through the capstone project that is at the end of the program. The reflection part is something that I always encourage students to do, that, think about what you have read, think about what you've learned, and develop your own opinion about it. Don't just take whatever is written in the textbook as gospel. And then peer learning is something that is facilitated by the students among themselves. Like we adopt a case learning methodology in the class. That itself creates such an explosion of discussion in the classroom sometimes that the lecturer talks less than the students. But that's the beauty of that particular thing. I'm sure I remember that one of the students this year took an initiative to create a peer-to-peer learning platform wherein their idea is to give 30 minutes every week to different students to share their areas of expertise and their ideas. So, I mean, it is very much student driven sometimes. So, just to answer your question in a long way, but yes, if you are, on a break or a sabbatical, and if you really think that, you need to upskill yourself, then this program has proved to be very effective.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions we have from YouTube. So if you would like to just
I actually saw one question, Sharang, which basically there was asked that, what is the difference between this and a PGP program? I would just like to, this is actually a good, and Professor Garima, who teaches on this program as well, can add to this. I mean, this is a question that we get a lot, what is the difference between this program and a PGP program? Or what is the difference between an 18-month program and a 2-year program? So the fundamental difference is this, that when you come in with, so the cohort that we have comes in with an average of 7 to 8 years of work experience. So the fact that you have worked for 7 to 8 years is that we assume you have a certain level of professional knowledge. You have worked in teams, you have taken on projects, whether you've taken it in leadership capacity or not, it doesn't matter, but you have handled projects, you have seen challenges at workplace. So that coming into the classroom is a third dimension of knowledge. The first dimension of knowledge is obviously how we learn through the society. The second dimension of knowledge is the lecturers, what the lecturers bring to the table, and the third dimension of knowledge is what you bring to the table. So in a 2-year program, you see most of the candidates have somewhere between 0 to 3 years of work experience. I mean, higher percentage is freshers, more so than ever. So when you go into the classroom and we teach to freshers, both me and Professor Garima teach on all our programs. So our approach is slightly different. We have to go right at the foundation level and try and create a curiosity about the workplace and business and organization and management, because they have never really been exposed to that. And then we sort of go into the fundamentals, and then probably in the second year we go into the advanced stages when the electives come. In the 18-month program, our approach is slightly different, because you bring so much to the table. We sort of ask you to come forward with your insights first. So, okay, if you're talking about strategy, you tell me what is strategy. And it is about then synthesizing all these perspectives and then arriving at the framework. So we say, okay, you think you have done strategy, but have you looked at this? Have you thought about this? So it is a discovery rather than imparting of knowledge. In a 2-year program, it's more of an imparting of knowledge. Whereas in an executive program, it's about uncovering what we know, in a different way, and just discovering things. Oh, this is what probably my boss was talking about, and developing your own opinion. So for us, it is very important that every student comes up with their own opinion and their own style of leadership, their own style of strategic thinking, etc. So that's the major difference. The second difference is that our placements are done differently to the 2-year program. So a lot of our placements are actually done laterally. Why it is done that way? It's because our students come with very specific and unique experiences, and they want to go into very specific roles within specific companies. So it is always very difficult to bring mass recruitment in that kind of a scenario. So that is why we specially and Rajiv and Sushmita, both being part of the placement committee of our program, can testify that it is about carefully selecting the right company and the right role for every individual. And we give a lot of support around that. We have a third-party company who comes in and does that profile mapping, resume building. There's mock interviews. There's a lot of support that we give for placement preparation so that you are empowered to go for the right role. There's a lot of alumni mentoring that happens. The industry, contemporary issues in management series, wherein the senior industry talks that happen. Everything is done differently on this program compared to the 2-year program, because we understand the context of you, that you've worked for 7 years, but you're looking for a new challenge. You're looking for that elevation in your career or a transition. So we have designed the program keeping that in mind. So it's not like a one size fits all. This is a very carefully crafted program meant for executives like the ones that you see on your screen. So, Professor Garima, if you would like to add to that.
Yeah, just as one of the faculty members who are interacting with the current students, and generally we keep interacting with the EXP students, I think it's also, there is a very different kind of a peer-to-peer learning also in this kind of a group, which does not happen in a 2-year, because like Professor Nehar was saying, their profile is very different. They have not been exposed to the industry so much. So no matter how much, in the classroom, they're taught to have an interdepartment and a larger and a broader view of the organization. The organization does not work in silos, but that really comes into play in a class of a EXP batch, wherein the students not only know what they where they are going to specialize in, but at the same time they see the synergies that are required in interdepartmental. So whether we are teaching strategy or we're teaching something else, a marketing core subject or a finance core subject, they're able to appreciate, and that is the kind of appreciation we want to develop in them also, is that there is a constant interaction between departments, and just being in one department is much more does not mean that your decisions happen in silos. In fact, each of the departments come together and bring the organization to a different level, and any major change that needs to be required is a very interdepartmental affair, which really happens truly in a EXP batch. So it's absolutely very different, being in a classroom of a 2-year and a classroom of a EXP batch. Yeah, that's all.
I'd like to quote an example actually, because we had a course as marketing management in the last term, wherein the faculty actually told us that they have very different expectations actually from the PGP students or from the PGP EXP students, and the case learning pedagogy, because it's a part of both your programs, right? So the cases that are designed for a PGDM program and for us are very different, because they keep in mind, that there's that we might, soon be heading and handling global businesses as well. So they do keep a good mixture of Indian context and the global context as well, and they do include cases that are, multicultural in that perspective. So the perspective is very different when you actually have cases which are not just in the Indian context, because we actually we have actually done those practical aspects, and we kind of have to relate that, while a PGDM student would actually read it and then understand and then probably apply it later. So it really plays a very significant role in your program architecture. That's all. Thank you.
I think just to add to Sushmita and to conclude on the peer-to-peer learning part, like we are divided into different APO groups for different terms. So we have a doctor in the group, we have a CFA in our group, we have a CA inter in our group, and we have a banker. So we get perspectives from different people and from very different industries. So I think that is one part in the EXP program where we leverage a lot, because getting this different perspectives on the same case study, sometimes I get amazed by the kind of contrasting views which I sometimes get from different people, and that actually helps looking at the world from a very different way. So I think on that part, I think EXP program is really very different from the previous program, and also the evaluation part. A lot of the good weightage of evaluation is on group projects, on group simulation, group assignments, and not just on the written end term exams, which makes a lot of sense in terms of the kind of peer-to-peer learning which we get in the EXP program. So yeah, so this is I wanted to add.
Yes, thank you, Rajiv. So we have one more question from YouTube. It is regarding the admission criteria for the program.
So, as far as the admission criteria is concerned, we want to see your undergraduation score. We would like to see what kind of work experience you've had. Obviously, you will need to have at least 5 years of work experience by September 2023. So even if you don't have 5 years of experience at this moment, it's all right. As long as you have 60 months of experience till September, you are free to apply for this program. even now. So you can make the application now. You don't have to wait till September. The other thing is that we also require you to give us the scores of a competitive exam. It can be CAT, XAT, or GMAT, and this is compulsory. And we have our cutoffs for each one of this. So depend and then if you do meet the cutoff, then you will be invited for an interview. And the first stage of the interview process is you have to write an SOP as a part of your application. So the statement of purpose is something that we look at very carefully to understand your motivation, desire, and thought process behind opting for an executive program. We also put you through a leadership potential test, which sort of creates a hypothetical scenario about a leadership situation or a decision-making situation. And you have to then write about it. So that's the second stage. And the third stage is a personal interview, wherein you will be facing a 2-member faculty panel from IMT Ghaziabad, and they would like to question you on your experience, on your education, your plans ahead, your motivation, your general awareness, current awareness, all of that. So that is how the admissions process looks like. If you have any more questions about the admissions process, it's mentioned very clearly on our website. So if you go on to the admissions landing page of IMT's PGDMEXP program, everything is very clearly mentioned. I'm sure Rishikesh, who's a part of the panel today, he's the person in charge of admissions for this program. He will be in touch with you, and he will give you more clarity in terms of what the exact criteria is. So thank you very much for those questions. Are there any more questions, Sharon?
No, I think we have answered all of them. So just on the point Professor Nihar was talking about, we will also share the links for the program information and also the program application link in the YouTube chat itself. We also have a profile day at Kolkata tomorrow. We'll also share a link for the same. If you are in Kolkata, you can also join us for that.
Not only in Kolkata. If you're out anywhere around Kolkata, you're free to join us. Yes. So in fact, me and Rishikesh are sitting in Kolkata right now, looking forward to our profile assessment day tomorrow, wherein we do a presentation on the program. We like to discuss your profile and talk to you about your suitability for this program. So that is, if you're in and around Kolkata, please do join us tomorrow. I would like to really thank at this point Professor Garima Saxena, who's the chair of our International Relations Center, for joining us today. Sharan for moderating this session very well. Sushmita, Rajiv for sharing their experiences as a part of the program and the international immersion. So thank you very much, everyone. If you do need any more information, feel free to contact any of us, and we will be there with the information back to you as soon as possible. So thank you very much for joining, and thank you, Rishikesh, for putting this webinar together. And I hope to see you all soon in IMT Ghaziabad. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you all,
Thank you all.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.